constantly solving problems, finding yourself in a state of constantly putting out fires. One problem arises, solve it, that's solved, another one arises. And it feels like our attention is constantly getting pulled into the outside, into the 3D, to keep ourselves afloat almost. A little bit like being in survival mode, because it just doesn't feel like there's very much time to just take a breath and enjoy the feeling of being creative, being enjoying peace and space within ourselves to lean into life, rather than feeling like I'm actually holding myself back from life because I'm constantly having to deal with things that feel like they're a priority. My attention must go here. And because my attention must go here, I'm not allowing myself really generate or allow my energy build up within me for what it's really intended to be used for, which is creative purposes. Things that allow us feel fulfilled and like we have the energy to step into the day and navigate things without draining our own cup, in a sense. So in noticing this, I thought, it's interesting how the outside, in all the just reasons that can be given, with this needs to be solved, this needs to be solved, this needs my attention, but it's the grip it has and the subtle grip it has to distract us and keep us in a constant state of distraction, where we don't even actually fully realise we're in it. It's like a loop or a cycle that's, because it's so in our face and because we're so in it, immersed in this reality, that we can get lost in constantly giving our attention to the outside. In this case, constantly solving problems, the next problem. And even if there's space between this problem and another problem, we might find ourselves in a state of anticipation for what's next. Not in a positive way, in a way where what's next? What do I have to deal with next? And it's almost like we might find ourselves in a place of guardedness or preparing for, almost like preparing for the worst, expecting the next doom or a thing that doesn't feel good to us to have to solve, to problem solve, to manage, to have to give our energy to. And it's very draining, because we're not designed to be in a constant state of survival stress. That's something that we deal with, we use as a resource if we need to deal with certain things. Like, you've probably heard it before. If we go back in our ancestors' days, it could be that there's a wild animal. We have to, that state of stress helps us to get out of a state of danger. But it's not something we're designed to be in constantly. And I feel like more and more we're accepting stress as a state of, almost like it's a normal way to live, when it's not normal at all. We're creative beings, So I sat with this and I thought, so how do you get out of this cycle if this is something you found yourself in, constantly giving your attention to the outside and feeling like your energy is constantly pouring out of you to solving problems, putting out fires? And I thought, it doesn't mean that you can't enter a state within yourself where you can build the muscle of experiencing there not being any problems. It does take probably a little bit of being delusional to an extent, because God knows what could be going on in the 3D. I'm not saying if something requires your immediate attention, that's important, of course. I'm not saying you wouldn't deal with that. But there's a lot of things that don't require our immediate attention or our attention right now that we can choose to navigate our energy in a different way, step into a different state within ourselves relative to that thing, where we don't need to see it as a problem. And what I mean by that is, by building this experience, building this muscle within ourselves, where we're not feeling like we're constantly in a state of survival or in a state of having to solve problems all the time. And as I'm saying this, I'm also noticing, there's times where we might have, you could say, if somebody from another person might look at you and say, oh my God, you have it so great right now. Like, you have everything in life just is going so well for you, but you're not even enjoying it because you're literally waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're expecting the next thing to have to. So from what another person could see is you're living the dream life. In the state you're in is still problem solving state. You're not enjoying yourself because you're waiting for the next thing to happen. So the state you're in, regardless of the outside, you're not allowing yourself to actually have peace. Enjoy your expansive, creative nature. So what really landed for me was, maybe to say it before I say that, regardless of what shows up in the outside, there are going to be things that need your immediate attention, and that's cool. That has to be prioritized. But there is so much that is not demanding your attention right now that might be seen as it needs to be dealt with. Something needs to be given attention. But as long as we're reacting and continuing the cycle, continuing building that muscle of problem solving. I'm a problem solver, rather than I'm someone who enjoys a state of peace, of all is well, of my life could not be better. As long as we're in the problem solving mode and building that muscle, the outside, the 3D, is going to constantly give us things back to support our energy, our attention going that way. So the only way cycles will ever truly break or end is by us choosing something different first, regardless of the outside. So if there's anything I want you to take from this video, it's notice where your energy is going on a day-to-day basis. And if this resonates with you and you feel, yes, I am giving a lot of my attention to problem solving or to anticipating the next thing that's going to arise that I have to deal with, use that moment of awareness to immerse yourself, step into the version of you who feels peace and knows that ultimately all is well. Regardless of what you're seeing, it's not actually, to a point you could say, you are being delusional. You're being delusional from the state, the version of you who sees everything, all these things as problems. From that state, you are being delusional. But there's another version of you who is not being delusional because she or he does not see those things from the same perspective. And that's what I want you to do, is step into that version of you, access that state where you allow yourself to feel peace regardless. You allow yourself to feel your expanded nature, all is well. You are an infinite being. There's no end to you. All is well. Feeling that in your body regardless. And letting that become familiar within yourself. That is the only way you're truly going to break the cycle, running the pattern of being a constant problem solver. And the beautiful thing about how life works is, the outside being solely a mirror, it is going to reflect back to you, supporting evidence of the truth you are reinforcing, which is all is well. I'm peaceful. I feel peace in my being. The outside is going to reflect back more things to support all is well. You are a peaceful being. You're experiencing peace within. here's some more things to reflect what is meaningful to you in the sense of this is peaceful outside. So if this helps you in some way, I hope it does. But yeah, give it a go. And I'd love if you shared in the comments if this resonates with you at all. Have a lovely day.